Slips, trips, and falls can happen anywhere from the workplace to the parking lot. But INBIODYN can help make sure your workplace is even safer. I got all the details.
The slip simulator was developed to create a realistic environment for somebody to experience how incredibly dangerous a slippery surface can be. Most of us will think about a slip, trip, and fall as just something that happens, and it's not really a big deal. But it's surprising, if you look at the statistics, how many people actually get injured, and some severely, as severe as death. And it's something that really needs to be considered and people need to be aware of. One of the problems is we don't get the opportunity to practice. What we've developed is something that creates that environment that's extremely slippery, but in a safe way. So you're harnessed in, you have special shoes we put over your regular shoes to try to make it as natural as possible. But we create an environment that allows you to really experience that when you spontaneously slip and are not prepared, you could fall, and in your mind you feel like you have fallen, though the harness has caught you.
And this was a lot of fun. And I know that the idea is that we learn from this. And what then are you teaching people? What kind of specific skills do we learn from this? And why should industry leaders do this for their company and their employees?
I guess the overarching thing to understand or to remember is to be aware of your surroundings. So whether we're talking about winter months, be aware that, hey, the weather has changed, it might be out there, I need to be cautious. But also be aware of your surroundings in your workplace. You know, whether there's people who are working on something, there's debris on the floor. And I guess the other thing that is the real experiential part of this is understand that it's body posture, it's the way you step, it's the way you're positioning your head that really makes a big difference. And many times when people encounter something slippery, they stare at their feet. They bend over, they try to get low. And that's what they thought they've learned. But what we've found is actually standing up straighter and keeping your head up and changing your steps will improve your stability and reduce the chances of you falling.
And INBIODYN has made a big difference in many different industries, hasn't it?
It has. And we started out in more of the power companies and the companies where employees are working out in the field, where they get a high rate of accidents that are costly to the individual, but also disruptive to the company. But what we found over these years has been that it's pretty much everybody in almost every industry. And our customers have found that through this training, that they have reduced these accidents dramatically.
And the really cool thing about this is you can come out to the business, you can train the business, and you can leave one of these behind, right?
Right, so we do offer a variety of different opportunities to provide this training for employees. As you referenced, we do on-site where we have our own mobile units come in and train people. We sell equipment that can be installed in their facilities, whether training rooms or in the plants themselves. For some of our customers, they've asked for a way to service many of their locations, so we develop custom trailers for them. We're working on a custom container that can ship overseas so that one large international customer that we have can go ahead and service plants throughout the world. So we try to adapt the product for whatever the need is so that our customers can continue the training.
I'm also here with Christian James, the co-owner here at INBIODYN. And tell me a bit about the history of the company.
Right, so we started this company about 10 years ago. We teamed with a professor at Virginia Tech who was researching why the elderly fall more at the time, and UPS came to him looking for a new way to train their workforce and not just handing them a manual but actually like having them do the things they need to do. He ended up creating this technology, this training, and we teamed with him to spread it out throughout the rest of the country and really redeveloped it from a research platform to a commercial product that can be shipped out and installed, and that's where we ended up here today.
And you guys really do modify these to the situation, don't you?
That's right. I mean, all the accessories that you've seen that we've come up with have been developed working with our customers. So, you know, we started out with just a few accessories. We go, you know, one customer says, hey, our people step over pipes. Do you have a pipe? And we say, yeah, absolutely, we can make that for you. You know, another one is, you know, working with railroad companies that have a lot of ballast, a lot of huge rocks that people step on and you know, twist their ankles and things. So we developed an accessory for that where you're walking on large, you know, moving objects.
And the bottom line too is that potentially somebody can hurt themselves in their job big time, and that can hurt a company big time financially as well. And that person person.
Absolutely. I mean, the average slip, trip, and fall cost is upwards of $40,000. So it can add up, and not to mention the years and years of pain and suffering experienced by the person. But I must say that the one thing that we've learned, doing this when we first started this business, we thought it was absolutely going to be all about the money. But working with all these companies in the last 10 years, almost every single one, it's all been about just making sure that their people come home without getting hurt.
It's exciting. You guys have worked with a lot of big name companies, so you can see this out in people's workplaces, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's good to see the commitment by a lot of these bigger companies to really, deploy these things, buy several of them, deploy them in a lot of different facilities, make sure that their, entire workforce is being trained.
And I would think that you would come out and kind of give them a test run too before they get an idea of whether they want to buy one of these.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see it's one of those things where you might think it's a little unusual and a little strange at first, and then everyone. But we get a lot of people too that we show up, and people will be very skeptical and sitting in the corner and kind of hunched over with their body language, saying, "I don't want to do this." And then they see their friends do it, and they get on it, and then they always come up to us and say, "You know what? This was so much fun. I really enjoyed it." And that's why it's so effective. Is you get to learn the technique and do it, and you have fun because you always remember things that are fun.
And to learn more about INBIODYN slip simulator training, give them a call at 540-357-0033. Find them on Facebook or head online to INBIODYN.com.